We now know that at that time, between 12,800 and 11,600 years ago, truly global cataclysmic events involving rapid rises in sea level did occur.
Thousands of years ago, an ancient story spoke of a massive flood and a legendary vessel known as Noah's Ark, believed by many to have survived a world-changing catastrophe around 3000 BCE. But what if traces of that forgotten story are still hidden beneath the mountains of Turkey? High in the rugged landscape of eastern Turkey, near the legendary Mount Ararat, a mysterious boat-shaped formation has captured the attention of scientists and historians for decades. From above, the strange structure appears like a giant vessel buried beneath the earth, raising one of the greatest archaeological questions of all time. Could this be connected to the biblical ark? Researchers have discovered unusual geological patterns, chemical traces, and underground structures that continue to fuel the mystery. Before we explore the secrets hidden beneath this ancient mountain, subscribe to the channel and help us reach our goal of 5,000 subscribers. While the evidence remains debated and no final conclusion has been reached, the Durupınar Formation continues to challenge scientists and keep the mystery of Noah's Ark alive. For centuries, stories of a great flood have appeared across different civilizations, describing a catastrophic event that reshaped the world and preserved the memory of survival against overwhelming forces of nature. Among these accounts, the story of Noah's Ark remains one of the most recognized narratives in human history. According to ancient texts, a massive vessel was built to survive a devastating flood, carrying life through a world-changing catastrophe. But could there be a physical trace of such an event hidden somewhere beneath the mountains of Turkey? The answer may depend on what scientists uncover beneath the layers of soil and rock, where the past has remained untouched for thousands of years. Nestled in a remote valley near Mount Ararat lies the Durupınar Formation, a mysterious boat-shaped geological structure stretching approximately 538 feet in length. Surrounded by snow-covered peaks and isolated landscapes, the formation appears unlike the natural terrain around it. Its unusual shape has fueled speculation for decades, with some researchers questioning whether this could be the remains of a massive ancient vessel preserved beneath layers of mud and stone. For believers, the resemblance to the biblical description of Noah's Ark is impossible to ignore. For scientists, however, the challenge has been separating ancient legend from geological reality. The mystery began gaining international attention in the 1950s, when a Turkish army captain flying over the region noticed an unusual shape carved into the landscape below. From the sky, the formation appeared remarkably similar to the outline of a ship lying motionless on the mountain slope. News of the discovery quickly spread through nearby villages, attracting curious visitors, journalists, and researchers eager to examine the strange formation. As photographs circulated around the world, interest in the site grew rapidly. During the following decades, international media organizations and researchers traveled to the region to document the unusual structure. Film crews captured aerial views of the formation, while photographers carefully recorded its dimensions and appearance. The shape appeared strikingly similar to the proportions described in ancient accounts of the Ark, creating a powerful connection between the geological formation and one of history's most famous stories. However, the Durupınar Formation was not simply a mystery for cameras. Over time, it became a serious subject of scientific investigation. Archaeologists, geologists, and researchers began studying the site through measurements, geological surveys, and soil analysis. Among those fascinated by the formation was Professor Faruk Kaya from Agri Ibrahim Chechen University, who described his first encounter with the site as a deeply unusual experience. Looking across the ancient mound, he compared it to walking along the spine of a massive creature buried beneath layers of mud and time, suggesting that the landscape itself seemed to preserve a forgotten chapter of history. The first stage of investigation focused on basic archaeological methods, measuring the formation, examining the surrounding terrain, and collecting samples from different areas. One of the most surprising discoveries was the size of the structure itself. Measuring around 538 feet in length, the formation appeared close to the 300-cubit measurement described in the biblical account of Noah's Ark. Its overall proportions, including its width and shape, created further discussion among researchers and historians. Although some researchers highlighted these similarities, they remained cautious. The measurements alone could not prove that the formation was an ancient ship. Instead, they represented one piece of a much larger puzzle. As Professor Kaya explained, the similarities were fascinating, but more evidence was required before making any extraordinary claims. The geological analysis added another layer of complexity to the mystery. Scientists discovered that much of the formation consisted of limonite, an iron-rich mineral commonly found in geological environments. This raised an important question. Was the unusual shape simply the result of natural geological processes, or could it represent the remains of a structure created by humans thousands of years ago? To investigate further, researchers turned to advanced technology. In 2021, scientists from institutions including Istanbul Technical University, Agri Ibrahim Seçen University, and Andrews University in the United States conducted additional studies using modern scanning techniques and geological analysis. Their goal was to examine what existed beneath the surface without damaging the formation itself. The researchers collected soil samples from inside and around the formation, hoping to identify differences that might reveal its hidden history. Laboratory tests produced unexpected results. Samples taken from within the boat-shaped structure showed significantly higher levels of organic material and potassium compared to the surrounding soil. These chemical differences suggested that some form of organic material had existed in the area and had undergone decomposition over thousands of years. Lead researcher Andrew Jones explained that the increased organic content could indicate the presence of decayed wood or other biological material preserved within the formation. However, scientists emphasized that these findings alone could not confirm the existence of an ancient ship. Instead, they provided additional clues that required further investigation. Advanced scans revealed unusual underground patterns, including voids, layered structures, and angular formations that appeared different from typical natural rock formations. Some researchers suggested that these features resembled internal divisions, similar to compartments that might exist within a large vessel. Others argued that natural geological processes could also create complex shapes and patterns over long periods of time. Further soil analysis revealed traces of clay-like materials, mineral deposits, and signs that the region had experienced significant environmental changes in the distant past. Evidence suggested that the area had once been affected by water activity, supporting the possibility of a major flooding event. However, whether this event was connected to the biblical flood story remains a subject of intense debate among scientists and historians. Radiocarbon analysis of materials associated with the formation produced dates ranging from approximately 3,500 to 5,000 years ago. For some researchers, this timeline appeared intriguing because it overlapped with traditional estimates associated with the Great Flood narrative. For others, the dates simply reflected natural geological processes that occurred during that period. As investigations continued, the Durupınar Formation became a place where archaeology, geology, and ancient mythology collided. Every layer of soil revealed new questions, and every discovery created another mystery. Was this simply an extraordinary natural formation shaped by thousands of years of erosion and geological activity? Or does it represent evidence of a forgotten structure connected to one of humanity's oldest stories? The answer remains hidden beneath the mountains of Turkey, waiting for future research, advanced technology, and careful scientific exploration to reveal what truly lies beneath the ancient landscape. Media coverage accelerated as these results surfaced. Headlines began appearing across the world, with major news outlets reporting on the growing debate surrounding the Durupınar Formation. The New York Post published reports suggesting that new evidence from the site had renewed interest in the possibility of Noah's Ark, while NDTV and Fox News also covered the discoveries, bringing the ancient mystery back into the global spotlight. The world watched closely as scientists, historians, and religious scholars debated what these discoveries could truly mean. For believers, the findings represented a potential connection to one of humanity's oldest stories. For skeptics, they were intriguing scientific observations that still required stronger proof. The evidence appeared to suggest that something unusual had occurred beneath the mountains of Turkey, but researchers remained careful not to make claims beyond what the data could support. The scientists involved repeatedly emphasized that they were not attempting to prove a biblical event. Instead, they were examining the physical evidence left behind by the Earth itself. Every sample, every scan, and every measurement added another piece to a puzzle that had remained unsolved for generations. The possibility of a connection to Noah's Ark created excitement, but the researchers understood that extraordinary claims required extraordinary evidence. Despite the growing attention, many questions remained unanswered. Most geologists continued to argue that the Durupınar Formation was most likely the result of natural geological processes shaped over thousands of years by mud flows, erosion, and tectonic activity. They suggested that unusual shapes can sometimes emerge through natural forces without requiring human construction. As journalist Tim Newcomb explained while summarizing the scientific perspective, the existence of a strange formation does not automatically confirm a biblical narrative. Geological evidence must be examined independently, and conclusions must come from measurable facts rather than historical expectations. Even Professor Faruk Kaya, one of the researchers most fascinated by the site, acknowledged the limitations of the available evidence. While the similarities between the formation and the Ark story were compelling, he admitted that more research was necessary before anyone could make a definitive statement. With the dating, it is impossible to claim the ship is here. We have to work for a long time to open this. And yet, the mystery of the Durupınar Formation continued to survive. To the communities living beneath the shadow of Mount Ararat, the formation became a symbol of curiosity and cultural identity. To scientists, it remained an extraordinary geological puzzle requiring patience, careful investigation, and advanced technology. And to millions of people around the world, it represented something deeper. A reminder that some mysteries from the ancient past continue to challenge human understanding. But as science began peeling away the layers of soil and stone, a new question emerged. Could the Earth itself be preserving a memory of something that happened thousands of years ago? Advanced technology unveils hidden structures. At the Durupınar site, researchers returned with advanced instruments designed to explore what human eyes could not see. Standing before the strange boat-shaped hill, scientists prepared to examine the hidden layers beneath its ancient surface. For decades, experts had debated whether the formation was simply an extraordinary work of nature or something connected to the legendary story of Noah's Ark. Now, with modern technology capable of looking beneath the ground without destroying it, researchers hoped to uncover what secrets had remained hidden for thousands of years. The investigation began with the constant hum of generators and the careful calibration of ground-penetrating radar equipment. In the cold morning air, Andrew Jones, a scientist who had spent years studying the site, watched as the machines began sending signals deep into the Earth. Speaking with the team from Science Channel's Forbidden History, Jones explained their approach. "We're not here chasing legends, but giving the data a chance to speak for itself." The research team approached the investigation cautiously. Many of the operators were focused purely on the scientific process, not the biblical connection associated with the location. But as the first scans appeared on their screens, curiosity quickly replaced skepticism. Radar waves traveled beneath the surface, creating detailed images of what existed underground. Instead of a random arrangement of rocks and soil, the scans appeared to reveal organized patterns, including straight lines, unusual formations, and structures that seemed different from typical geological activity. One operator examining the data told Fox News Digital that some of the patterns did not resemble what would normally be expected from a naturally formed structure. The scans appeared to show a long central passage extending approximately 234 feet, surrounded by areas resembling side compartments. The presence of sharp angles and organized spaces became one of the most debated aspects of the investigation, as such patterns are uncommon in natural formations. Inside the research tent, excitement grew when William Crabtree, the lead soil scientist involved in the project, reviewed the findings. Examining the chemical data, he observed unusual differences between soil inside the formation and the surrounding landscape. The ground material inside is very dissimilar. We're noticing increased organic material and potassium, which indicates rotting wood, exactly what you would expect if this used to be a giant wooden building. The discovery immediately attracted attention from journalists waiting outside the research area. Notes were taken, cameras were prepared, and reports began spreading around the world. The team then conducted resistivity scans, a more advanced technique that uses electrical currents to map underground variations. These tests provided additional details about the hidden structure beneath the surface. The results were intriguing. The scans appeared to reveal deeper layers extending beneath the formation, with patterns that some researchers compared to structural elements found in large vessels. Possible divisions, layered sections, and internal pathways created further discussion about whether the formation could represent something built by humans. Engineer John Larson, who worked with the resistivity analysis, suggested that the patterns deserved further investigation. This is not a random pile of rock. It's a structure that was built, not one that was formed randomly. As reports spread, media attention intensified. News organizations highlighted the possibility that advanced scans had revealed previously unknown details beneath the Durupınar formation. The Christian Broadcasting Network also interviewed Andrew Jones, who discussed the discovery of unusual cavities, layered formations, and corridor-like spaces. "It's just what you'd want to find if you were looking for a man-made boat," he explained, while still acknowledging that further evidence was required. With additional analysis, researchers discovered more unusual characteristics. The vegetation growing above the formation appeared different from surrounding areas, suggesting that changes beneath the surface could be influencing the soil and plant life. Crabtree described this difference as a potential living fingerprint, where the hidden structure beneath the ground may have altered the environment above it. Soil samples collected from within the formation showed higher levels of organic material and potassium compared with nearby areas. Researchers suggested that these chemical signatures could be consistent with the long-term breakdown of organic substances, possibly including wood. The scans also revealed areas that appeared damaged or displaced, leading some researchers to speculate that if the formation represented a vessel, it may have experienced a violent event before becoming buried beneath layers of earth. Using advanced imaging software, scientists attempted to separate natural sediment from denser underground features. The resulting images appeared to show a symmetrical, ship-like shape beneath the surface, with internal patterns that continued to fuel debate. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect was the similarity between the detected layout and descriptions associated with the Ark story. Multiple levels, central passages, and divided sections appeared to match certain elements described in ancient texts. If you were designing a boat to survive a flood, this is how you would design it, Jones explained in discussions surrounding the findings. However, as excitement grew, scientists continued to approach the discovery with caution. The central question remained unanswered. Was this evidence of an ancient man-made structure, or was nature capable of creating something that only appeared artificial? Jones summarized the challenge in a simple question. Do we really have a man-made phenomenon before us, or an uncommon, natural phenomenon? The research team announced plans for additional studies, including future drilling and non-destructive surveys, while emphasizing the importance of protecting the fragile landscape from harsh winters and erosion. "We're only just starting," Crabtree said. "Whatever this is, it's incredible, and we owe it to the world to know the truth." As the sun disappeared behind Mount Ararat, researchers packed away their equipment, but their questions remained unanswered. Beneath their feet, the ground still held its secrets. Yet, for the first time, humanity possessed the technology to listen to the hidden stories buried within the earth. Could the planet itself remember what happened thousands of years ago? Not through written records or ancient texts, but through chemical traces preserved in the soil. And what if those whispers beneath the mountains were not simply echoes of natural processes? What if they were evidence of something extraordinary waiting to be discovered? Chemical imprints and soil mysteries. Deep beneath the surface of Turkey's Durupınar archaeological site, the rolling hills have preserved secrets from the distant past, secrets that modern technology has only recently begun to uncover. For decades, the unusual boat-shaped formation remained a mystery, but now scientists were turning their attention away from visible structures and toward something far smaller, the hidden chemical fingerprints trapped within the soil itself. At dawn, a team of researchers approached the ancient formation carrying specialized equipment designed not to search for traditional artifacts, but to collect microscopic evidence buried deep within the earth. Their goal was to examine traces of organic material that may have survived through thousands of years, preserving clues about what once existed on this remote mountain landscape. Every sample collected represented a tiny fragment of history. Hidden within the layers of soil were microscopic remains that could reveal information long after visible structures had disappeared. The researchers carefully extracted material from different sections of the formation, hoping that the chemical composition of the Earth would reveal a forgotten story buried beneath the surface. The first soil samples recovered from inside the formation appeared dark, almost ebony-colored, and carried a strong, earthy smell. Each sample was carefully placed into individual containers, labeled and transferred to a temporary laboratory setup filled with glass vials, testing equipment, and analytical instruments. Inside the research camp, the atmosphere was intense. Scientists worked in near silence, interrupted only by occasional whispers of excitement as new results began appearing. Their investigation focused on several important factors: organic content, potassium levels, and acidity measurements. These elements could help determine whether the soil inside the formation was chemically different from the surrounding landscape. Then, the first results arrived. The findings surprised the research team. Soil samples collected from within the structure contained nearly 3 times more organic material compared to samples taken from nearby areas outside the formation. This difference suggested that something unusual had influenced the soil composition over thousands of years. Lead researcher Andrew Jones presented the findings carefully, explaining that the higher concentration of organic material could indicate the presence of decayed wood or other biological remains preserved within the formation. Our soil samples showed around 3 times the density of organic material compared to the surrounding areas, indicating quite strongly the presence of rotting wood or other organic material. But the investigation did not stop there. Further analysis revealed another unexpected discovery. The soil inside the formation contained significantly elevated potassium levels compared to the surrounding environment. Scientists explained that potassium is often released during the decomposition of organic materials, including wood and plant matter, making it an important chemical indicator when studying ancient environments. Veteran geologist Professor Farooq Kaya examined the results and suggested that the combination of higher potassium levels and changes in soil acidity could indicate prolonged organic decomposition over a very long period of time. According to this interpretation, the chemical evidence could be consistent with the remains of a large wooden structure buried beneath the surface. The acidity levels provided another intriguing clue. While the surrounding soil showed relatively neutral characteristics, samples taken from inside the formation displayed more acidic conditions. Scientists explained that this type of chemical environment can develop when organic materials slowly break down over centuries, leaving behind a distinct signature within the soil. Instead of finding a simple geological formation with ordinary soil composition, researchers discovered a chemical pattern that appeared different from the surrounding landscape. The possibility that the Earth itself was preserving evidence of an ancient structure captured the attention of researchers around the world. Reports highlighted the unusual chemical characteristics found at the Durupınar site, suggesting that the formation contained organic signatures rarely associated with typical geological formations. As more evidence emerged, excitement grew within the research camp.